Yes, Mzansi, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we're going to make you feel that much better right now, and especially when it comes to the belly and your health in general. Now, Woolworths is obsessed with providing their customers with the best tasting quality produce grown by their local expert farmers. Now, they partner with their farmers to approach farming in a sustainable way, and that's to ensure that you get the most delicious and nutritious produce grown in harmony with nature. Now, already I'm dancing and celebrating this, but we've got senior technologists for vegetables and salads from Woolworths. I'm talking about Brigitte Zablocki, and she's here to tell us more about this approach they call farming for the future. Brigitte, how are we doing?
Very well, and yourself?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm in like celebration mode. I've come from some of the farms that Woolies have produced, some of the Clement Golds that we've spoken about in previous episodes. We're talking about veg now. We're talking about some of the essentials in our lives. But let's get into this. How do you approach this? What are some of the pillars that are taken into account when it comes to growing fresh and good produce like this?
So when we think of the pillars of sustainability, we often think of environment first, but there are actually three pillars.
Okay.
So you have the environment, and that really means working with nature, not against it when using farming practices. Then we talk about people. So how are our farming practices and activities having a beneficial impact on farming communities?
Okay.
And then finally, it needs to make financial sense.
Yes.
So how are our farming practices making sure that the cost of our inputs is less than actually what we get back for it? And that all three together actually builds a strong foundation for a resilient food system to ensure food safety and security.
And that's an intricate balance, because when you're providing people with the best, it comes at a cost. And then you still got to provide them with the best price and the best everything else. So kudos to getting that balance and that triage sort of perfected in my essence. But let's talk about the important part of, or one of the important parts, being the soil. How important is it to have good soil when producing fresh produce like this? How much of an impact does it have on that actual end product?
So the soil for a plant is exactly like the food that you eat.
Okay.
So
it's fuel, it's sustenance,
so you are what you eat. Okay. And for plants, it's not really the soil, but so you have to think of when we're farming crops.
Yeah.
We should think more of that we're farming the soil, and that we're doing everything we can to build up the diversity in the soil texture, the structure, so that it's holding water, so that it's giving enough nutrients, that the plants can grow and be happy, and also nutritionally dense. So, this is very important also when we think of you. I mean, you need to eat veggies, you're 5 a day, you need to exercise, you need to sleep, and to avoid nutritional deficiencies, to avoid getting sick, every bug that comes around that you don't take off leave, or those types of things. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with the soil, to build it up to a point where the plants can get everything they need to be healthy.
So if they get everything they need, that means we're getting everything we need, because they carry all that important nutrition and the good fuel that allows us to capitalize on the day. So how does this kind of work in the general sense? Because I would imagine that is it a matter of like, just get the best soil, okay? And then wherever that soil is, we'll grow all the veg on that soil. So if you find good soil, let's grow it there. Or if we've got it in this province, how does it all work exactly?
So each veggie likes its own climatic conditions and its own soil type, and some like heavier soil, some like sandier soils.
So they each have their specific requirements and their own perfect soil, right? Okay.
Yes, it's like the shoes that you wear. Some people like Birkenstocks, and a lot of people like sneakers.
But doesn't that make it quite complex in terms of growing?
It does, but that's really where, things like farming for the future and where our farmers' knowledge come in, is how do we actually match the right crop type with the right soil type and ensure that they are grown in the right area at the right time for the best flavor and nutrition.
It's like synergy, efficiency. This all becomes like a beautiful dance. The way you start speaking about this, like we create this perfect environment for perfection to basically get created. And at the end of the day, it's almost like this stuff is blossoming from that environment. So let's talk about maybe some long-term effects. So what is the benefit of using, let's say, good soil, and what are the long-term benefits of incorporating that into a growth versus maybe not doing that?
So think of looking after your soil like looking after your gut health,
yes.
Right? So you need to eat all these veggies, you need to have enough fiber, you need to be exercising, you need to get most of your nutrients from what you're eating.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to start having nutritional deficiencies. Now you have to take vitamins and minerals.
Compensate for the things we're not getting, yeah.
Yes, and that's not the best way to really get nutrients. Then when you do get sick, then you need to take antibiotics. That disrupts your entire gut microflora, so you get sick more often again.
Yep.
So in exactly the same way, if we're not looking after the soil, if we're not making sure that we're building the organic matter with compost and, cover crops, and not if we're disturbing it too much with tillage and, growing the same crop over and over and over again on the same place, what's happening is it's like we getting sick and being unhappy. So when you do all these best practices, what you're actually building is that resilient soil system where the plants are getting the nutrients they need in the quantities they require. You're not polluting the environment. And then if there is a bug or something like that, they're more resilient. So they have better immune systems themselves.
Beautiful.
Fun fact, they also have their own immune systems, just like us. And they can actually fight off a lot of these bugs themselves. So we don't have to have all these chemical interventions to keep them healthy.
Well, Brigitte, thank you so much. This has been something exciting, something to celebrate. I pride myself on good fuel and nutrition, and I'm so grateful that I know that I'm getting that from Woolies produce, and especially in their veg. So for you, that is exactly it. That's the Woolworths difference, ensuring that their customers, us, we get quality, delicious products grown in harmony with nature. Now, we're celebrating that, and you can do the following. You can shop all your fresh produce at Woolworths, available in-store, online, and of course, on the Woolies app. Brigitte, thank you so much. The belly is excited.
Only exceptional flavor. Our local farmers grow the best varieties. Only an unbroken cold chain. That's why they stay fresher for longer. Only farming for the future, so more generations can grow food too. The only vegetables to choose.